Hello, this is Mr. Stein, and in this video, I'm going to go over the prerequisite skills practices with you for Chapter 5, Relations and Function. All right, question number 1, verify. It's an important word that you should know. That x equals 25 is the solution for this equation here. So what I want to do is I'm going to put in 25 in for x and see if the equation works out. So I'm going to just zoom in a little bit. 2 is equal to 25 divided by 5 minus 3. All right, so my left side doesn't change. There's no operations on that side. Then do 25 divided by 5. That equals 5 minus 3. And 2 is equal to 2. My left side equals my right side. That is correct. I have now verified that 25 is the solution for this equation. Number 2, solve each equation, then verify the solution. There's a lot of equations here. I'm not going to solve them all and verify them all for you. I'm going to do numbers C, F, and I for you. The other ones I'll just tell you the answer. Letter A, you should get x is equal to 3. Letter B, you should get y is equal to 6. Letter C, I'm going to do letter C for you. 9b minus 13 equals 22. I want to isolate my 9b because I want to isolate my variable. So I'm going to add 13 to both sides. I'm going to get 9b is equal to 35. Yep, that's what I get. That means b, I divide both sides by 9. Divide both sides by 9. B is equal to 35 divided by 9. And that is a decimal number, unfortunately. And as it's a decimal number, you can leave it in this form, 35 divided by 9. Leave it in its fractional form. Its exact value, not a decimal approximation. To verify, I do 9 times 35 over 9 minus 13 equals 22. I multiply these together and I'll get 35 minus 13 equals 22. And 35 minus 13 is 22, equaling 22. That is correct. So my solution here is b is equal to 35 divided by 9. If you have a decimal approximation, that'll be just under 4 because 9 times 4 is 36. Letter D, C is equal to 13. Letter E, D is equal to minus 17. All right, let's do letter F together. Negative 72 is equal to negative 9 plus 7e. So I want to get my 7e by itself. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. That's going to give me negative 72 plus 9 is going to give me 63. Negative 63 is equal to 7e. Divide both sides by 7. I get e is equal to negative 9. I'm going to verify this. To verify this, I write down my equation. And I simplify my right-hand side. So 7 times negative 9 is equal to negative 63. And negative 9 and negative 63 is equal to negative 72. Verified. All right, so in the letter F, E is equal to negative 9. Letter G, X is equal to 49. And in letter H, A is equal to 99. Letter I, I have 21 is equal to b divided by minus 5 plus 9. I'm going to isolate this term. So I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. 21 subtract 9 is 12. So 12 is equal to b divided by minus 5. I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. Since my variable is being divided by minus 5, I need to multiply both sides by minus 5. That will cancel out. I'll be left with minus 60 is equal to b. Now to verify, I do 21 is equal to b, negative 60 divided by negative 5 plus 9. Do that on my calculator. 21 is equal to, well, I don't know what happened there. 12 plus 9, and 21 is equal to 21. Verified. So there we have it, that b is equal to minus 60. All right, number 3. Use a symbol to write an inequality that corresponds to each statement. S is less than 4. So we write S is less than 4. That is our statement, S is less than 4. Letter B, T is greater than or equal to negative 1. T is greater than or equal to, so when we have this equal to part, we put a line under the greater than sign, negative 1. That reads T is greater than or equal to negative 1. Letter C, V is positive. That means V has to be bigger than 0. 0 is not positive or negative. 0.1 is positive. So V has to be strictly bigger than 0. Letter D, W is less than or equal to 0. So we write W is less than or equal to 0. That means W can be 0, negative 0.1, negative 0.01, anything smaller than 0 and 0. So it's just getting you practiced with less than and equal than signs and introducing this new one, less than or equal to. Number 4, use symbols to write a double inequality that corresponds to each statement. E is greater than or equal to negative 2 and less than 2. Now, here's the trick when you want to do this. Take your smallest number. You write it first. So negative 2. Now, E is going to be between negative 2 and plus 2. So E is between those two because E is greater than or equal to negative 2. So E is bigger than or equal to negative 2. And E is less than 2. So you see how I wrote that? I put my variable in the middle here. My variable can take a range of values with the smallest value and a largest value. So I put my smallest value first, my variable, then my largest value. Then all my arrows, all my greater than signs go in the same direction. So E is bigger than negative 2 or equal to negative 2, and E is also less than 2. Letter B, F is greater than 0 and less than 12. So I put 0, I put F, and I put 12. F is bigger than 0, and F is less than 12. There are no equal signs in this one, so it is strictly that. Letter C, G is greater than or equal to negative 3 and less than or equal to 7. So I put negative 3 first, then G, and then 7. So smallest number, variable, largest number. greater than or equal to. So this one has equal to, greater than or equal to. So G is greater than or equal to negative 3. And it's less than or equal to 7. Letter D. H is greater than or equal to 3 and less than, strictly less than 8. So smallest number, variable, largest number. It's greater than or equal to 3, greater than or equal to 3, and then less than 8. That is how we write out this double inequality. Number 5, graph each inequality on a number line. X is less than or equal to negative 5. So X could be negative 5, negative 5.5, negative 6, smaller and smaller. Well, we need to draw a number line. And we need to put some numbers on that number line. Negative 5, negative 6, negative 4, negative 7. Just enough to show what's going on. Now, X is less than or equal to negative 5. So X is going to be on this side of negative 5. Now, because X is less than or equal to 5, we put a whole dot at 5, indicating that X could be 5. But it could also be anything to the left. It's our variable X. When we can include negative 5 in our inequality, so it's got this equal sign here, we put a solid dot. When it can't be included, we put an open dot. So letter B, y is greater than 2. So we draw a little number line. And we put 1, 2, 3, 4. Now y has to be greater than 2, but y cannot be 2. So we put a dot at 2 because y cannot be 2. And we draw a line indicating that y can be greater than 2. Letter C. J is greater than negative 1 and less than or equal to 4. So we need a number line for J. And I'm going to start at negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and I need to go a little bit farther so that I get all the way up to 4 and 5. I should have put 0 on a tick like normal. Now J is greater than negative 1. So let's take a color for J. But J cannot be negative 1. It just says J is greater than negative 1. And it's less than or equal to 4. So I put a solid dot at 4. And J can be any of these numbers along this number line. So J can be plus 1, plus 2, plus 1.1, plus 3.9, negative 0.7, but it cannot be negative 1. It can be 4. Letter D. K is greater than or equal to 2 and less than or equal to 7. So again, we need a number line. I'm going to put it down here. 2 is the smallest number we need on here. We can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So K is greater than or equal to 2. So we'll choose the color for K. And it can include 2. So we put a solid dot there for 2. And less than or equal to 7. It can be 7. It's got the equal there. And it could be any number between those two. That is K. So K could be any of those numbers. All right, so you should be able to take an inequality and put it onto a number line. Number 6, create a table of values for each linear relation, then graph the relation. Use 3 values of x that will fit nicely on the graph. All right, so I've got 3 graphs here to put the 6 linear functions on. And I'm looking at them. Look at A is y is equal to 4x, B, y is equal to x minus 2, C, y is equal to x plus 2, D, y is equal to 2x plus 3, E, y is equal to negative 2x plus 3, and F, y is equal to 1 minus 5x. I notice B and C look similar, so I'm going to put them on the same graph. I also notice that D and E look similar, so I'm going to put them on the same graph. That means A and Y go on a graph together. So we're going to start off with letter A. And I'm going to choose red for letter A. I need to build a table of values. So X and Y. Now, Y is just 4 times whatever X is. So if I put X is minus 2, and I chose minus 2 for a reason, 4 times minus 2, that's using this one here, 4 times minus 2, means our Y is going to equal to minus 8. Now if I put 0 in for X, 4 times 0 is just 0. If I put in plus 2 for X, I'm going to get plus 8. Do you see why I didn't do minus 3? If I put in minus 3 for X, I'm going to get minus 12 for Y. And on my graph, my Y only goes up to 9. So, now let's graph this on the first one, letter A. So go to negative 2 and negative 8, which is right there, negative 2, negative 8. 0 and 0, the origin of the graph, and then 2 and 8, right there. And we draw a straight line through that. Label that A. That is graph A. I'm going to choose another color, blue, and do Y on the same graph. Or, sorry, letter F. Y equals 1 minus 5x. Letter F, which is Y equals 1 minus 5x. Here's my table of values. X and Y. Now, can I use 2 in this graph? Well, maybe, maybe not. I'm going to use negative 1 for X, 0, and 1. So I put negative 1 in. I do negative 5 times negative 1 is plus 5. So 1 plus 5 is plus 6. I put 0 in. Negative 5 times 0. I'm doing the negative 5 times 0 is 0. And then 1 and 0 is 1. I put 1 in. 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. 1 subtract 5 is negative 4. So at negative 1, I get plus 6. Negative 1 plus 6. At 0, I get 1. 0 on the x, I get 1 on the y. At 1 on the x, I get minus 4. Looks like that. I just graph it up with a line. This is letter F. All right, you see how this goes? You should be able to build a table of values for a linear function. Letter B, y equals x minus 2. All right, so let's build our table of values here. Here's our x, here's our y. I don't know which values I'm going to use for here. I can use any one. So I'm going to use 5. If x is equal to 5, 5 minus 2 is y is equal to 3. 0. If x is equal to 0, y is equal to minus 2. Minus 5. If x is equal to minus 5, y is equal to minus 7. I just like to keep my x values spaced out evenly. Now I go to graph, letter B. I start at 5 and 3. 5 and 3. 0 and minus 2. And negative 5 and negative 7 right there. Let's choose a different color. And let's do letter C. Sorry, I should label this as B. And let's do letter C. Y is equal to x plus 2. Build my table of values. I'm going to use the same values for x and y. 5, 0, minus 5. In this case, 5 and 2 is plus 7. If I put 0 in for x, 0 plus 2 is 2. And I put negative 5 in. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. All right, so now let's graph these. My first point is at 5, 5 and 7, which is right here. 0 and plus 2, which is right there. 5 and 7 is wrong. That was 6 and 7. 5 and 7 is right there. And negative 5 and negative 3 is right there. Take a look at those two lines. C and B are parallel lines. They both have a slope of 1. They have the same slope, so they're parallel lines. Let's take a look at D and E. So letter D. Y equals 2x plus 3. For x, I'm going to choose, I'm going to do negative 4. Nope, I can't do 4, negative 4. I'm going to have to do 3, negative 3. Yep, 0 and plus 3. So I put negative 3 in for x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. Put 0 in. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is plus 3. I put 3 in. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. Now let's graph that. Negative 3, negative 3. 0 and plus 3. And then 3 and 9. That one has a positive slope. Right, the slope is plus 2. Now when we do letter E, E has a negative slope. So we're going to find a spot to do E. Y is equal to negative 2x plus 3. So I build myself a table of values. X and Y. I'm going to do negative 3, 0, and 3 again. So negative 2 times negative 3 is plus 6. 6 plus 3 is plus 9. Put a 0 in. Negative 2 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is plus 3. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. So in this one, it's negative 3 and 9. 0 and 3, 3 and negative 3. Notice that these two have opposite slopes, but they have the same start point. They have the same b value, or y-intercept. All right, so all of those skills are skills that you should have for this unit. If you have any